Good evening and welcome. Just want to share my screen. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see my screen in a moment, and then we'll get started. Greetings from South Africa. I'm based in Johannesburg. My name is Anjani Harjeven, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at WomEng and WomHub. And it's an absolute privilege to be talking to you today, sharing our journey of empowering women on the African continent and around the world in the area of STEM, particularly in engineering. And I'd love to take you through our story. Please feel free to comment on the chat. I'd love to know who's in the session, where you are viewing from. And if you have any questions while we go ahead, please let me know as well. And also just confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Okay. I'm going to just talk through it then while we're waiting for the screen share to get active. So as I said, we are WomEng and WomHub. WomHub is our company and WomEng is our foundation, but that's really where we started. And really it is a mission to develop a gender diverse and inclusive engineering workforce. And the tools that we use and the story we want to tell is how to upskill and increase participation right through to ownership, through education and through technology. And it is an absolute passion of ours to work with females to improve their understanding within STEM, right from young girls through to women on the there we go. I think we have it now. Please let me know if you have the screen. Excellent. Fantastic. So that's really our mission, and where we are today. And really what we do is we work to really upskill through attraction, development and retention of women in engineering with a large focus on capacity building. And we do that through our advisory work, consulting with partners, and really taking young women and girls through experiential learning, both in person pre-COVID, as well as virtually, and as well as developing an online portal for women in STEM. And this really is right through the pipeline and introducing girls to STEM at a very, very young age. We start with our Launchpad workshop, which is at very young kind of school level, introducing girls to awareness around STEM and understanding that they have potential. A lot of the girls in our communities across the continent, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, don't have role models within their communities that show them that STEM is an option for them, and what STEM careers are made up of and what engineering really means. And we then run programs through to secondary school, right through to tertiary level in terms of universities and colleges, working with women around employability, building them up for success in the workplace, what it means to be a successful woman engineer in the workplace, and then right through to supporting them in the workplace through networking, thought leadership, connection with mentors, and through a very powerful virtual hub that allows them to stay connected to like-minded women through the pipeline. We're also really very connected to the SDGs and support the United Nations SDGs as part of our goals. Being based in South Africa, running out of Johannesburg, however, having a global footprint is really important to us. At WomEng, we've run programs with WomHub and WomEng across 22 countries, and we continue to grow. But sub-Saharan Africa is our focus. And incredibly, what our main mission is that we have committed with in partnership with UNESCO to the 1 Million Girls in STEM campaign. And that really is our commitment to reach 1 million girls with the intention of creating that awareness around STEM and STEM-related careers to girls and young women across the continents and across the world. And the way in which we do that is through our 1 Million Girls in STEM program with the tagline, Change a Girl, Change the World. And we recognize at WomEng that is only going to be achievable through ambassador programs and exponential growth in terms of increasing the stories, hearing that, and increasing the access to girls and women to hear these messages. And so we have a number of ambassador training programs, and in the link below this workshop, I have inserted how you can engage if you're keen to become an ambassador and really spread the word. We have a Launchpad toolkit and program that's branded and allows you to be able to take part in this journey and in this story to share with girls and talk more around girls in STEM. And as we realized with WomEng and the great work that's being done, and as we gather momentum in our 1 Million Girls in STEM program, we realized that we needed to take the story further from participation through to ownership, and that there was a bigger story to tell here. The reality is that if you look at CEOs across Africa raising capital, the picture, particularly looking for women, is very bleak. In this diagram taken at the beginning of the year in 2019, you'll see that there are only 2 women that appear. And as we've been doing work with female founders, our data tells us that it's really lonely. The percentage of female founders is very low. The access to funding is even lower, and the deal size relative to men for the ventures that they want to pursue is basically half compared to their male counterparts. And female founders have expressed to us that they have incredible challenges, and they want to tell their stories, and we want to tell their stories too. But what we found is that what female founders in STEM are looking for and are challenged with, first of all, as we all know, is access to funding, that access to working capital to take their innovations and businesses forward, as well as the financial skills to articulate their needs and to be able to assess how they're doing. The reality of dealing with sexual harassment and engendered issues is rife, and we talk about it in one of our inside reporting pieces, which I've attached the link to in this breakout session link, where we talk about this being one of the number one issues that women experience, particularly when they're trying to access funding. And the reality of sexual harassment, being asked for sexual favors, is very real across the continent, and is one of the major contributors to why our female founders stay away from growing their businesses and requesting and asking and participating in venture capital opportunities. Our founders are also looking for more venture clinics and product support, as well as legal and operational support. And one of the ways in which we tackled some of these challenges is through our Africa Innovation Fellowship. And I'd like to take you through the story of this journey for the next few minutes. Our mission, which started in 2019 with our inaugural in-person program, was to incubate female founders across sub-Saharan Africa with businesses in engineering and technology across Africa. And these are the incredible women who took part in that first program. In that program that took place in Uganda, we had 25 fellows from 14 different countries that had innovations across various business stages, and we're working primarily across SDGs, the UN SDGs 8, 9, and 10. And it really was a melting pot of the most incredible spirit, the most incredible stories, and the most incredible hunger and need to take their businesses forward. But what was really interesting was that the capital expressed and the capital that they were looking for relative to others across the world was fairly low. In fact, the median capital that was expressed that the applicants needed was about £15,000. And yet we had kind of incredible stories of individuals on the program already having raised £190,000. But still, the founders were looking to access funds and were accessing funds through personal funds or bootstrapping, through families and friends, and through grants. And we were really keen to start thinking about how do they take that further to angel investing and venture capital as well. This is just an example of the session that we ran. We hosted panels. We took them through experiential learning programs, and they also participated in self-development workshops as well as a pitch-off at the end of the day to build their confidence around how do I articulate my message and how do I pitch my business. And here are some incredible stories that I wanted to share. And this is Eloho. She's the founder of a business called Code LN in Nigeria. And she shared that for her, it wasn't the fellowship itself. It was the fellowship itself, the meeting of great minds and businesses, knowing that she's not alone on the journey. And Eloho came into the program being really shy. And through a personal development journey, through change management, mindfulness work, as well as understanding her business path in more detail, she's now gone on to take part and become a finalist in one of the biggest engineering innovation prizes on the continent this year, which is the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation through the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK. We also have Evangelista, who's the founder of Passion Poultry, and she was the winner of our pitch-off in 2019 and had never left her home country of Zimbabwe before she attended the program. On the program, she attended that in person in Uganda, and after winning, part of her prize was to go to London. In London, as part of her incredible journey and networking and building relationships and being able to tell her story, she met an investor who was wanting to partner with her and raise the investment to take her manufacturing of poultry incubation products further, and continues to shine and realize her dream. Charlotte is an entrepreneur who has built facial recognition technology to verify identities for the protection of financial and online fraud. And this is a big issue in the continent. And she was the 2020 winner of the Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation, the first female winner in its history, following the AIF development program that she did with us. And so there's been incredible stories that come through from here, but really there's more of the story that needs to be told. And so where to from here is that at WomHub we realized that we actually need to support female founders who actually play an ownership role and in a core economic role, and we need to support them more actively. And so WomHub is really positioned as a boutique incubator for female founders within STEM. And in this case, we define STEM as science, technology, engineering, and manufacturing. And really, research shows that supporting female founders in this sector is really a potential $5 trillion market opportunity. And so how can you not support that? And really, there's a couple of key aspects to this. One is we created a co-working space, which I'll share with you shortly. It really is around building the pipeline of incredible entrepreneurs on the continent. It is made up of incubation, virtual incubators. It's around learning and development and incubation programs. And it's building our founders for investor readiness so that they are able to scale and grow. We launched our co-working space. Here's some pictures of it. I was really hoping to be there today, but unfortunately we're still in a curfew due to the COVID-19 lockdowns. But these are some pictures of our co-working space by females for female founders, which was launched during the lockdown on the 9th of August in 2020. So it's an incredible space, but is kind of COVID ready and COVID protocols in place. And here's another picture of the offices, but really the idea is that it is a virtual hub, but it's also a physical co-working space which provides a home for women and like-minded women who are looking for a connection and looking for a space to come together. The other part of WomHub and how we're looking to grow is our Imagineering Lab, and that looks at how do we push the boundaries around what is possible? How do we look at developing STEM skills and technologies further, particularly in within deep tech, data science, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, as well as rapid prototyping in the engineering space, so that founders have a space that they can come together, trial and test, and take their products very quickly to market. And then also it's really around an incubator, which has proven just as successfully run virtually over the COVID period. And that's really around being able to access coaches, mentors, and startup experts that female founders can partner with to be able to take their businesses further, but more importantly, to be able to really tackle the challenge of being able to access funding. And the next step really for us is to participate very actively in a fund for women. And we, in partnership with Abrazo through a company called 535, are looking to raise $30 million to invest in women in technology, specifically in Africa. We are led by two incredible female engineer co-founders, Hema Vallab and Nadia Musaji, and we've worked with a number of partners and founders across the continent to deliver this incredible vision and what it is able to show for us. And we've got an incredible team that sits behind us. But ultimately, this is around saying, we've got to shatter the glass ceilings. There is nothing that we can't conquer and nothing that we can't do. And these are the stories that really need to be told. And I've left our links in the chat below. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and hopefully take some questions if you have any. But really for me, the story is that we've got a lot of work to do. We've got an incredible opportunity that we need to accept and behold. And we've got incredible women who are looking to access, grow, and shine on the continent. Thank you so much, Surya, for all your amazing support. Do you have any questions? Is there anything more that you'd like to know about our business or about the work that we do? Let me know in the chat. So the links are at the bottom of the bio, but I'm just going to copy them again as well. And we've written an incredible insight report on the realities that founders face, and that's the link at the top there under our insights. And following the AIF program, we wrote a specific insight research piece around female founders and through gathering data of working with entrepreneurs on the continent, what they're experiencing in real terms. And our programs are kind of always oversubscribed, and we're finding that there are specific things that the founders need. And what the incredible challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic have actually also presented an opportunity to provide access through virtual programs to more female founders. And this year we were able to run it virtually with, last year in 2020, we were able to run our entrepreneurship fellowship program with 58 female founders virtually across 16 sub-Saharan African countries. And it was incredible to see that the challenges remain the same, but that incredible scope and view to take it forward continues to grow, and people are really taking up the opportunity. I've put the links in the chat as well, and really hope that you will reach out to us And also our ambassador program is an ongoing program to help us achieve this awareness in STEM and reach the 1 million goals that we so desperately want to create opportunities for young women going into STEM careers and future skills that are so required to take the continent where it needs to get to. I think what's also really, really interesting is, thank you so much. I think what's also really interesting is what the future holds, and what we have found through the pandemic is that it's probably never going to be a one or another anymore. It's going to be around being able to provide a hybrid approach so that access continues, because some of our founders are working in incredibly challenging conditions, but really need access to these kinds of skills, this kind of support, and this kind of capacity building as well. And so what we find is that the virtual, the ability to be able to kind of connect with them virtually becomes a real enabler for them, and something that they can really talk to. But what's really interesting is that there's still very real challenges on the continent around access to connectivity as well as the cost of data. And so one of the things we do as a standard is that we provide and cover the data costs for accessing the virtual workshops every time for the participant. But even that, that's kind of only one half of it, because the connectivity is still an issue across the continent, and some very real challenges around geopolitical issues, around social norms, where if there was an election, which we had during our program last year in a particular country, the country actually closes down access to social media. And so we find the participants, the founders, find it very difficult to engage with us. They're unable to connect to the Zoom or the WhatsApp. And so you've got to kind of be consistently aware of what those very real challenges are for the founders, and still be able to connect with them. And so I think the beauty of what technology is able to provide is that you through real-time connection, but then also being able to record and share content with them after the fact, will become really powerful going forward, so that they feel, I've got the tools, I've got the techniques, but I can use it in my environment in a way and in a time that works for me. And that's what we're finding is going to be the future for us around how we take this forward. Thank you so much. I think that our time is up, and I'm so grateful to you for participating, and I look forward to engaging with you again. Cheers.